Wow, that is so obnoxious. I'm running like one program, but my computer needs to cool down for a century. Anyway, this is October 28th, the day for more Commander Legends spoilers. And as you can see here, we already have some more reprints, I guess. We have Findhorn Elves, very good reprint, I would say. 1 mana Dorks are usually going to be pretty good, especially if you want to make elf decks. That's kind of the deal with elves, or just any more aggressive commander decks. We have Farhaven Elf, we have Imperious Perfect. Don't remember the name of this card, but it's certainly a reprint. We get a translation here. Numa, Juraga, Chieftain, so a 3-mana legendary elf warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to pay double X. When you do, distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of target elves you control. Also has partner. So it is double X, which means whatever total mana you pay, it's going to pretty much be half of that. So if you want to get multiple counters on your elves, you're going to have to pay at least 4 mana. Then we have Kotus, Emberclaw Familiar, 2 mana mono red elemental lizard. This is also another legendary partner. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. Very similar to Saskia, that commander option where you could deal damage to several opponents, even though you only have to attack one and deal damage to one of them. And then we have Port Razor here, 5 mana, Orc Pirate. When it deals combat damage to a player, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. Port Razor can't attack a player it has already attacked this turn, which even if it has that restriction, it's still going to be pretty powerful. Whenever you have a creature that can give you extra combat phases, look out because that can end games pretty quickly. Then we have Natural Reclamation, a 5 mana green instant with Cascade. You destroy target artifact or enchantment. Cascade is making a bit of a comeback here, and we're seeing it in just smaller cards. You know, little uncommons that we're going to get. We can cascade into other cascade spells, which will allow us to cascade into even more. We saw yesterday we had the 3 mana legendary creature that synergized with Cascade, looking pretty promising. We have Gore Muldrak, Amphenologist, 3 mana in Simic colors for a legendary human scout. This is not a partner commander option, but you and your permanents you control have protection from salamanders, so it's one of those weirdos. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token. So it's perfect for group hug, because it rewards other players, while it protects you from that specific reward. Other than that, though, I don't think it's anything super special. We have Amphin Mutineer, so we get a Salamander Pirate, coincidentally. 4 mana mono blue for a 3/3. Whenever Amphin Mutineer enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-salamander creature. That creature's controller creates a 4/3 blue Salamander Warrior creature token, and it has an Encore cost of 6, which I've already described what Encore is pretty much like. It's, let's say Myriad, but from the graveyard. We get a reprint here from Battle for Zendikar, and this guy's ability was just 8 mana, deal 3 damage to any target, which is actually pretty good in Commander. And then we get this Fraxion dude, 3 mana, he enters the battlefield, and then you get to draw a card. We get this pretty sweet artifact. Horizon Stone, 5 mana. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes colorless instead. And we're going to see a card here that synergizes with this, but as you can see from the Thesaurus, it's pretty much Krufix, God of Horizons. And it wouldn't be spoiler day without 1 million translations. Yurlok of the Burn Thrash. So this is a 4 mana Jund colored legendary Viashino Shaman. Vigilance, if a player loses unspent mana, they lose that amount of life. And it has an ability where you can pay 1 mana and tap it. Each player gains black, red, and green mana. So you have a way to burn everybody. Could also burn you, because this apparently applies to all players. I guess if you have a deck that can reward opponents with extra mana, maybe it's mana that they don't need and they don't use it, it leaves their mana pool. So then they lose that amount of life. And I know there's not a mana pool anymore, but I just like saying it. So far, this is probably my favorite commander option that I've seen. It's really that bizarre that I would want to make it. And then we get a pretty cool commander option. Zara Wind Raider, 5 mana. Is it colored for human pirate with flying? Whenever Zara attacks, look at defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So this is pretty sweet. Obviously, it's situational. You don't always know if your opponents are going to have a good creature in their hand, but if you get her out early game, just attack the big creature deck, and chances are they have a big creature that they couldn't cast earlier on in the game. And then we have Meteoric Mace, a 6-mana red equipment with Cascade, so we get different kinds of cards with Cascade. That's nice. Equipped creature gets +4/+0 and has Trample, an equip cost of 4. Nothing super special about the equipment itself. It is 6 mana. The equip cost is pretty high, but it does have Cascade, which could separate it from other cards. It might just be worth it to play it because it has Cascade. I don't know. And then we have Court of Cunning, a 3-mana blue enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Now this is a pretty sweet card because at the beginning of your upkeep, any number of target players each mill 2 cards. If you're the Monarch, each of those players mill 10 cards instead. So every time it comes back around to you, if you're still the Monarch, they're going to be milling 10 cards. That's each opponent. So I think we found another pretty good staple for mill decks that's also going to provide you with more card draw. Then we have Amarath the Lustrous, 6-mana Bant-colored legendary dragon with flying. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it into your hand. So imagine just having stuff like Sensei's Divining Top, anything where you know the top card of your library and you can set that up pretty easily. While it's not going to cheat anything into play, it's going to get you more card advantage. Don't know if this is the kind of thing Commander players are going to want. It's a good ability, but I don't know if it's anything bizarre enough. It just looks like you're going to be building Bant good stuff with kind of a top deck manipulation strategy. Then we have Kamal's Will to go along with Kamal Heart of Crow's Eye, I suppose. 4-mana green instant. You choose one. If you control a commander as you cast it, you get to choose both. First mode is until end of turn. Any number of target lands you control become 1/1. Elemental creatures with Vigilance, Indestructible, and Haste are still lands. So yeah, you can deal a lot of damage because we're about to read Kamal Heart of Crow's Eye here in a second. Second mode is choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to that creature. So you get a mono green instant kill spell, which, believe it or not, I mean, there's a lot of fight cards, a lot of instant speed, target creature fights, target creature your opponents control. But considering this isn't even fighting, this is pretty much a green kill spell. You don't risk your creatures dying. So it's pretty sweet. And we have Kamal Heart of Crow's Eye, a whopping 8 mana, but you're about to see why. Legendary Human Druid 5/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. That's at the beginning of combat. That's a trigger every one of your combats. So each one of your turns. At the very beginning, all of your creatures are going to get +3/+3 and gain trample. That is pretty darn good. He also has an activated ability for 2 mana until end of turn. Target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature. Sounding familiar already with Vigilance, Indestructible, and Haste. It's still a land. He also has Partner. So you can make this kind of strategy even stronger. You're already in the colors to make a pretty aggressive green deck, any kind of landfall deck even, and just benefit off of having a ton of lands, because they're all going to get +3/+3 and they're going to gain trample. Very powerful commander option, and I think if we can see even more of the partners, if any of them can make it easier to get to the 8 mana to play him, if any of them have a good landfall synergy, I think Kamal's going to be a pretty good commander. And the last card for the 28th, we have Prava of the Steel Legion, a 3-mana mono white cat soldier. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4. And you can pay 4 mana, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And he also has Partner. So this is actually really unique because usually with anthems, you only get like a +1/+1. This gives +1/+4. So your creature tokens are likely not going to die. They're going to get pretty big. I think this is fantastic if you want to make more of a token strategy. I'd like to see the other partner commander options again. That's going to be the case for a lot of these cards we see spoiled. It's what else can we partner it up with? But anyway, let me know what you think about these spoilers. Still got a couple more days here. And I haven't covered the leaks, so I don't know anything about those cards. Maybe some of these cards that I read were already leaked. I don't know. I didn't check them out. But anyway, Void here signing off. See you all next time.